All right. Sean Lane's going to share something about share how he's using a slide deck in his job search. So he has an advantage when he comes to the interview.
Okay, well, and part of the use for the slide deck is networking. So I use it a lot in networking. If you look at my LinkedIn right now, I connected to probably 75 people in the last week. And a lot of those people are asking, what do you bring to the table? I mean, everybody can look at a resume and see what's going on, but if you don't know what a slide deck is, I'm going to show you. And this helped me let them know what I'm looking for. So share, and then I'll go right to here if it opens up. Here we go. So I had AI help me with this, and let me make it big. So basically, what a slide deck is it's just your career um, results. What have you done? Who are you? And it's in like Christina's. It's a different medium. It's got color. It's got all your links on it right here, what you are open to. You can add anything, whatever you want to it, but then you have different pages here. So, a career snapshot, this is what I've done in my career. All three jobs that I've had in 25 years. These two right here are both Coca-Cola's, just one, they're both private. Um, so that's what I've done in each uh, job. And then what I've actually achieved during those jobs. 70 plus accounts, 5,000 SKUs managed. Uh, this is a deal for Coca-Cola where I sustained less than 0.5% out of date product for 18 years solid, which is a big deal for a lot of a lot of places because Coca-Cola you have to have less than 2%. When I came into Coca-Cola, it was 20% out of date. So I brought it down to less than 0.5% and kept that for 18 years. So that's a big deal. As a sales manager in Glendive, we had 1,000 SKUs, and in Mountain Country, we had 5,000. But basically, that's just a little snapshot of what I did to achieve that and key competencies during my tenure at all of those places right there. Next page, training and people leadership. So, I mean, your resume only tells you so much about who you are. You can only add so many things. So when people are asking me, networking wise, what do you do? I can send them the slide deck. If they want my resume, I can send that too. But most people that are asking for what you do and what you're looking for, they want something they can actually read, not as a hiring manager, but as somebody else. So I came up with this. What did I do? Well, I trained and I was in people leadership, and this is how I achieved all that. This is what I did at Coca-Cola, at Traeger. And then next, I actually designed a bunch of displays to be able to put into accounts, and then I go in and build those. And what a lot of people don't know, but I'll let you guys know, is a lot of these I drew with crayons and graph paper just so I could fit them into the spot that I was working with. But it shows a little bit about what I've done. That is what I drew and then built. And then what I've done throughout my job search. So before I interviewed for FlexiSpot, I built, as you guys know, the ones that were here, I built the workbook and brought it to the interview with me, and then I ended up building another one. So I brought two workbooks with me to the interview, and that just kind of lets people know what I'm capable of there. And then it has a little, live from the workbook what it actually looked like inventory wise. And what was this one? Oh, for Sitka. I actually built one for Sitka too. And it was a mock assortment plan for a job. And I sent that to my contact at Sitka before I applied to a job at Sitka. And so this is what the job is looking for. Maybe this will help me land an interview, which it hasn't yet, but that's okay. It's in my slide deck. And that's basically what it looks like. Built that because that's what they were looking for. and then why I'm a fit. And then you can customize this to whoever you're sending this to, company name, or you can take this completely out if you're just sending it to a network connection. I know the customer, spent 25 years. My Montana roots run deep. This is who I am. This is a little snapshot because a lot of companies are looking for a culture fit too, not just somebody that can do the numbers. I've done the work, not just managed it, built displays, run resets, work trade shows, and I build things that last. You know, my 18 years of not having, or this was, my out of date was for 18 years. Yep. And then coach reps with a 35% close rate after I coached them. So I don't just fix problems, I build systems that outlast me. And then the last little page is again an overview of your information so they can connect with you right away, right off of there. And these are live links too. So if you're sending them email or through text or through LinkedIn, they can actually click right on there and it's a live hyperlink right to what you need to what you if they need to connect to you. So that's the big, like, main overview career deck. But I also have um, one that I sent to a connection. So this lady and her husband were actually asking me, what do you do? And what are you looking for? So this was for two people, Gabby and Brian. Thank you for offering to open up doors. Here's a quick look at my background and what I'm targeting, and two recent projects that show you how I think. So I just made a smaller one, just a snapshot of what I'm looking for, what I've done, first off, and then what I'm targeting. Primarily remote, open to training. Secondary is Montana. I mean, I never want to leave Montana, but I want to be remote. That's basically what I'm doing. And then recent work samples. So I just put in there that I put together an inventory and launch planning spreadsheet, what I've done. I wasn't even asked for those. And Sitka, I did the same thing. Before I was even interviewed for either one, I did these. And then the last page, thank you for thinking of me. It's just a nice little slide deck that they can look at, present to people. And because I sent them this, they wanted my resume right after this. So they said, okay, let me have your resume. I'm going to send this on to CEOs and people that I know. And I mean, you built this for us to look at. What can you do when you get into a job? We think you'd be a good fit somewhere else. So we're on to helping you. That's basically what I did
Question.
with AI.
If the prevailing frequent thought process is that they're not going to spend a lot of time if you send them a resume, why would they spend a lot of time reading all of that?
So it's a great question. So one, these decks that I'm sending out, I'm not actually sending to hiring managers. Hiring managers are the ones that are going to skim through your resume and do this and do that. These I'm sending out to network connections. I'm
Ah,
not
okay.
sending them out to actual companies unless they ask for like another version of you or another resume of you, then I'd send them out. But for me, I'm using these as network connections. So I can,
Well,
look on LinkedIn, find people that are working at that job. Maybe somebody I know, like I know a guy that works at Sitka, so I've sent him this. And hey, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I've done. Um, do you guys have a fit? Before I send a resume to a company and actually apply. This is stuff done behind the scenes. Jason's got a question.
Sorry,
This
I
is
was
kind
muted.
of
Jason, sorry.
kind of I don't know, maybe hyper technical or whatever, but so it looks like you're running off a Mac, and so I can't think of the name of the
Key,
PowerPoint for Macintosh
Keynote.
pages, Keynote.
yeah.
But yeah, so how transferable is that between different OSs to read?
Actually,
Is that a hassle?
it's not a hassle because you can actually save it as a PowerPoint and then send it out as a PowerPoint, even from a Mac. I tested that with I have a Windows laptop too,
Right.
so I saved it as a PowerPoint and then sent it to myself and opened it up as a PowerPoint. And then when I send it out to normal people, if I know that they have Apple or whatever, I've sent them both ways actually.
Okay.
So to Gabby and Brian, I didn't know whether they were iPhone or Android people, and I
Right.
sent it as a text. So I sent it as a PowerPoint and I sent it as a keynote.
Okay. Yeah, like I say, because it just seems like just that document structure is not going to be completely universal across
Right.
various things.
So when I
Um,
send it out on LinkedIn, like as a message, I'll send it as a PowerPoint. Because even on a Mac, I mean, you know way more about computers than I do, but on a Mac, I can save it as a PowerPoint
right,
or I can save it as a keynote. So then I can send it out as a PowerPoint. If I don't open it up first, I just save it as a PowerPoint, send that version in a LinkedIn message. It goes out as a PowerPoint.
right,
Yep. So if I know that I'm sending it to an Apple user, I can just leave it alone, send it as a keynote. If I don't know, I can send both versions because it's a pretty small file actually.
oh,
Uh,
okay,
and I can send it out as both versions, but I send it in text format to Gabby and Brian, and that's exactly what made them immediately say, "Hey, send me your resume. I need to get you in front of these people." So I don't know
okay.
how they opened it, but they opened it one or the other.
And they saw it somehow. Yeah, so
Yeah.
right. All right. Thanks.
And I
Yep.
think it's a lot easier probably to digest than a resume. That's what I think. I think, it tells what does a resume do? It tells a story, and it's telling a more of a deep story like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. And it's different. It's different than what they're looking at. Who else?
And with how Steve talks about resumes, I mean, I only have ugly resumes, so I don't have a nice looking one. So this is a way to get that in front of people before a hiring manager or something like that.
Sean, I love the way that you embrace AI to help you with putting together presentations. I've done them myself using Google Gemini
Mhm.
and Claude. I'm wondering in your presentation if you thought of, and this is just a visual brain, if you thought about using iconography or some imagery in your presentation to
So
give it a little bit of personality.
I have thought about that, yeah, and I at first I didn't do it just because I wanted it to remain fairly professional in just colors that are like outdoor themed, and actually that's what AI did with me. I asked it to make it like because I'm targeting outdoor companies is what I'm really wanting. So it has the green and the orange, which is like hunter's orange, and green is like a forest. So it brings that to your mind, but subconsciously. And then I did put the picture of like a display that I've built in there, which is a little picture of me. But then I am, just like you're saying, I am going to build a version where it has multiple pictures and outdoor themes and a little bit more about me because I have a Polaris Razor side by side that I like to ride and do all the kinds of things on my off time. So I'll do that. And then I also was a volunteer baseball coach. So I'll have a picture of the baseball team that I coached on there, stuff like that, outdoor themes, and maybe pictures of fishing, fly fishing, stuff like that.
Awesome. Awesome. Good job. I love the color scheme.
Thank you.
Who else?
Jeff had a question in chat. The problem, Sean is showing the problem fixes in his slide deck that he helped the organizational solve. What company doesn't want people who fix his problems and help? Yeah, well, I got second in the FlexiSpot interview. I lost out to a guy that had more firsthand experience dealing directly with Costco and Home Depot, but I was second place in that one. And then sick guy, I haven't back yet.
Any questions? Let me ask a question then. Sean, you've been playing with slide decks a little bit. how difficult is this using AI?
It is extremely easy. It would take if you put these are the commands on AI. So I use Claude a lot. ChatGPT I started using and then I went to Claude and I went back to ChatGPT just recently and it was a nightmare. So I'm back on Claude. Anyway, uh Claude, it has my master resume in there. And then you shared a YouTube video on a guy way back when that had a slide deck, and that's what made me think of this, a career slide deck, something like that. So I asked AI with my master resume in there. I said, I want to make a PowerPoint presentation, snapshot photos of what I do and what my resume represents, what I've done in the past, and I want to make it into a PowerPoint presentation. So it did it, spit it back to me. I liked it, and then I said also I'd like to add these as slides. I want to add that PowerPoint presentation I made for FlexiSpot, the PowerPoint presentation I made for Sitka, and I also uploaded a photo of a display that I made and said put this in there too as part of my Coca-Cola background, and then it spit it back to me that exact way. It literally probably took me half an hour to 45 minutes to complete what the version that you guys just saw. Probably half an hour, 45 minutes tops.
Okay. The one that, and I can include that if you guys want me to, is a very unique approach, but using a slide deck. Pat Nielsen is his name, and he's a technical writer, and he decided he'd see some jobs he was a good fit for, he'd apply, but he didn't want to take a chance to wait. So he would identify up to 10 people on LinkedIn, and he would send them all the same message, why they should connect. And his hit rate was 1 or 2 people on LinkedIn at that company responded. And if they responded, he had a slide deck to send them immediately, and it usually landed him a conversation, much of the time a couple rounds of interviews, and sometimes the final interview. So Sean, thanks for taking the time to do this. Let me end this recording. This is Sean Lane sharing about how he's using slide decks in his job search.